Welcome back to the channel, everybody. If you missed the sign right there, we are on a dangerous trail out here in Joshua Tree National Park. It is called Black Eagle Mine Road, and two people relatively recently died out here. And it's interesting because they died actually relatively soon in the trail, which is what we're on now. So I just started, and we're going to do this real time and talk about kind of the section where they died, and you know, some ways to prevent death on this trail. They're not the only people to die on this trail, but it is rated as a difficult trail, so keep that in mind as you take this trail down. Now, it may not look difficult right now, but there'll be some difficult sections. And the trail also is not necessarily rated difficult for the reasons you think. But let's talk about how these people died. So basically, they were from Europe, and they flew down here on a whim. It was a man and a woman, and they flew down here in, I think, August, which is ridiculous. So the temperature was something like 150 degrees out. Not 150, 110. And so 150, but it probably felt like 150. But anyway, they rented a Dodge Charger or a Dodge Challenger, something like that. You know, one of those throwback muscle cars. Let's pull in the mirrors here so I don't hit anything. It's going to make our profile narrower. Anyway, they took their Dodge Challenger or Charger out here, and they got into this beginning section, and they pretty much got stuck in the soft sand. So this trail starts out with some soft sand. So this may look like at times just a plain dirt road, and it is going to get crunchy and difficult. So hang on to the end. But if it looks soft or it looks just like a graded dirt road, it's not. Use both cameras for perspective. The camera above you is not what I see. That gives a perspective for you, the viewer. What I see is behind my shoulder here in the car, and at times it's going to look like you could see where I'm going, but I can't. Look on the inside camera, and you'll see that at times I may see nothing but sky, or I can't see where the road is going. So keep that in perspective as we move forward. Anyway, they got basically hung up on this soft part as we're getting in here, and they were in rear wheel drive, and they essentially got trapped. Looks like there's a what is that, a Subaru ahead? Some sort of Subaru, perhaps? Can't really tell. But they got trapped in this soft sand, and it was 115 degrees up. He's going to let us pass. It's good. So we got, oh cool, we'll have a Subaru behind us from North Carolina. It's an Outback. Maybe he's going to follow us. Okay, so we've got a Subaru following. That's cool. It's Friday, so we might see some people out here in trouble. Anyway, back to the story. It was 1,000,000 degrees out in the summer, in August. They came right out in this beginning section here. They got stuck in soft sand, and then they went to walk, and they only had 2 bottled waters on them. The man went to walk in one direction, and the woman went to walk in another direction. Why? I don't know. Maybe the heat got to them, but that's what they did. And long story short, their skeletons were discovered by an off-roader, whatever, a couple days later, a month later, I don't know. But their bodies were found, and of course they died. And it's very tragic, of course, but it happened on this section. So a couple things I want to talk about here, which is this surface that I'm on right now, which is what they got stuck in, which is soft sand. So this is not dirt road. This is slippery, soft stuff where you could get dug in and stuck like they did. It's a good excuse to air your tires down, though we're not air down, we're at street pressure. But if you want to air down for more traction, this is definitely the case when you're in soft sand and get a wider tread pattern on your tire. Now, if they were in this Dodge Charger, got dug in, and left the car and died. The sad part about the story is when the Riverside County Sheriff's deputy finally found them, the deputy was able to get in their car, their Charger or Challenger, I forget which one it was, same thing, right? And the deputy was able to hop in, and in under 60 seconds, he was able to get in and free the car from being trapped. So there was a couple issues here. The first one is obviously know where you're going and what your skills are, and try to pack accordingly. They didn't have enough water. They were from Europe, so they possibly didn't understand just how harsh it is out here and how quickly the heat, especially in the summer. Now you see these ruts on the road, it's getting choppy. This is getting messy now. I'm in 4 high, by the way, center diff locked, and this car is not lifted. Of course, we're in a Lexus GX460, and it just has BFG KO2s, has some skids on it, the bumper's cut, there's no lift, and I'm not here yet. But you can see it's getting soft, and it starts to get squirrely here and a little bit dangerous. Sorry to interrupt. So far you might be thinking, what's the big deal? I'm driving on just a sandy road, whatever. But there's something important I want to tell you about this particular sandy section, and that is it's going at a slight downgrade. So when you're driving, you can't tell. It looks like you're going on a sandy straight road, but you're going slightly downhill, and gravity's helping you along, all right? But the problem is, and this is the issue, when you turn around eventually and have to take the trail back home, because this is an in and out and trail, you're actually going on this particular sandy section here, you're going uphill now, coming back, gravity's not on your side, and it is significantly more sketchy and sandy and dangerous. Coming back when we took this, even though we had 4-wheel drive, going back, because you're at a slight uphill, you're digging in, going like crazy, so you need 4-wheel drive or to be air down or whatever. Anyway, it's sneaky, because on the way in, you think you're going flat, but you're being helped out by gravity. Going back, you realize you're going uphill in the sandy section, and that, it's pretty much, it's a surprise. It is, again, an optical illusion. Going down, you're getting help, and you don't realize just how serious this section is till you come back up. It's an optical illusion, a dangerous one. So this is the stuff that they started to sink into, and then they panic. But you want to know, you want to be prepared. First of all, they didn't have enough water. Being from Europe, they probably didn't understand just how far off, the beaten path you're going to go when you come out here to America and you go to these national parks and you go off-road. There's no service station. There's no park ranger that comes out here. I've never seen a park ranger out here. They stay on the main drag unless they're called for an emergency or a tragedy, ironically. But otherwise, they're not going to be out here, so it's up to you or any other off-road. There's also no cell phone service out here. My cell phone, if we check it, is going to say, no service. At the very best, it might spot in and out, but right now, it says no service. So heed the warnings, heed the signs, they're real. So these people could call for help. They're trapped in the sand, and they weren't prepared with water, and they essentially underestimated the effects of the heat in the desert. You start to get very, very squirrely. Ooh, gotta slow down for this stuff. Okay. Anyway, I should have slowed down a little bit more for that. But yes, that was fun. Let's see. We still pointing at the road up here? Oh, yeah. All right. Anyway, as I was saying, be prepared for anything, including your own mistakes. But anyway, getting back, they were not prepared. The desert has a way, the heat of getting to people that aren't used to it, especially if you're from Europe and you're not used to this dry Mojave Desert or Western U.S. heat. It is not the type of heat, slow down for that one, it's not the type of heat that people that aren't acclimated can easily acclimate, especially not on a whim like these guys, this man and woman from Germany, flew over here on a whim. You can't just pick it up like that. You have to be acclimated to this heat. How do you know you're acclimated to this heat? Well, if it's 100 degrees out and you go, it's not that hot outside today, then you're acclimated. That's, believe it or not, that's what people in the Southwest, no matter where you are, what desert you are, they go, oh, it's only 100 out today. If you're not used to saying that, you're not acclimated. Or if you go jogging when it's 110 out to get your exercise, and you go to a track, or like I do, jog around our property, or just jog cross country, and it's 110 or higher out, and you do your normal routine and you're not worried, you're acclimated. But if that sounds insane to you, please use caution and please respect it. It took everybody, me, anybody who lives out here, a while to get acclimated to that type of thing. So it takes time to get acclimated. That these people weren't. And let's talk about why they even came out here to begin with as we go down this trail. And by the way, it will get more difficult ahead. It's firming up here a little bit, but it's getting rutted and bumpy, and then we're going to get into a whole mess of rocks. And by the way, the whole point of this road, there used to be a mine called the Black Eagle Mine, which has since been abandoned. It's pretty much a ghost town, and that's what this road was used for. It's an old mining road. We'll talk about that in a second, but I want to wrap up these people that died out here tragically. They came out here on a whim, ironically, to find the Joshua Tree used on the famous U2, the rock band, their album cover. I think it was titled Joshua Tree, and they thought for some reason it was out here on Black Eagle Mine Road. I don't know why they thought that, but that's what they thought. Who knows why? Drugs and alcohol, I don't know. Or maybe that was the rumor, I don't know. But ironically, that Joshua Tree is nowhere near here. It's actually in Death Valley National Park. We're in Joshua Tree National Park, so they were unfortunately not even ever going to find it if they had come out here. But that's why they came out here. That's a pretty blue bird, blue and gray bird. I wonder what that is. But they went out here on a whim. They weren't prepared, on impulse, and tragedy struck. So to wrap this up, before we start talking about the trail and this coal mining history and this road and the challenges on this road, I just want to say, know your car, whatever you're in, know its limitations and know your own limitations, and most of all, be prepared and tell someone where you're going. They left without telling anybody what road they were going to be, when they would be back, etc. I told people where I'm going. I'm going on Black Eagle Road at this such and such date. I'm at the trailhead now. I leave digital breadcrumbs on this phone, and so if something happens, come down Black Eagle Mine. I'm going to be near the car. I'm not going anywhere straying off the trail. So be prepared and know your car. When I say know your car, this cop or this deputy from Riverside County was able to free their car. Did he have the skills to just free it? Did he get lucky? Did he know the car better? Who knows? Maybe a combination of all that, but he was able to free it. He knew the car better than they did, unfortunately. So be prepared. And, they could have aired down in that case. In other words, the people that got stuck might have been able to free themselves just by taking the air out of their tires. I know it's rear row drive, but flatten all four tires and they might have gotten out. But be prepared. The signs are real. The rumors are real. People have died. That sign was written in bones and skull and bones and skeletons, ironically, just like it looks. All right, enough safety talk. Let's talk about this cool trail. So this trail we're on is known as Black Eagle Mine Road. If you want to see a video of us going down this trail, getting a little crunchy here. I got to slow down. Oh, I took that way too fast. But I didn't hear anything bang, so I guess we're good. Woo! Thought we'd hit something there. So, yeah, you see what you're getting into. There's going to be surprise like that if you're going really quick. So I'm going to slow it down a little bit as we're getting a little more firm here. But I was saying, the point of this road was there used to be a mine down here called the Black Eagle Mine. I don't know what they mined. I think it was iron, and back in the day. And so this was one of the roads that went to and from the mine for carrying the ore in and out in the supply chain in and out, blah, blah, blah. The mine has since turned into a ghost town. And some people, you can visit it. This trail ends at a white rock that kind of blocks access to the mine, but it's still cool. And some people go ahead and pass that white rock. We just don't. I I'm sure you could. I know there's no trespassing signs, but I'm sure if you really wanted to, you could. And people online have passed the White Rock to go in the mine itself. But the ghost town where the mine is itself, I think, is fenced off, so people usually drone over it. Oh, speaking of drone, what I was saying was, if you want to see a drone version of this trail, check out our channel and search the channel, and you can see some more aerial shots of this trail. But this real-time, these dual cam views are going to give you a different perspective and a more live perspective, I think. The aerials are pretty, and I love them, and we'll always do them. Don't worry about that. But you do get a different perspective down here on the ground that I think is more realistic to what you are going to experience. So once the mine dried up eventually, in other words, they took all the iron out of the mine that could be taken from it. See how we're getting rockier here? So it starts to get crunchy, and then you'll see there'll be some more difficult, really crunchy spots ahead in a moment. So once the mine was dried up, basically like any town, once the industry dries up, it turns to a ghost town, and that's it. They stopped maintaining the road, and I guess four-wheelers over the years or over the decades kept traveling down this trail, and now it's an off-road trail. Now, if you're wondering, oh boy, how did they back in the olden days travel this trail in those old vehicles to this mine? It must have been rugged and rough and this, that, and the other. Well, it wasn't like that. At first glance, you might think that the trail was in this condition back in the day, but no. This mine, this Black Eagle mine, would be today what we call a multi-million or even billion-dollar operation. So this wasn't a Mickey Mouse mine. This was a real deal, big boy mine. In the millions, if not billions. So they would have had this road constantly maintained. In other words, they would have had their own team of graders and road clearers to make sure that this road was passable and in good condition, because they wanted to get their product, which was very valuable, in and out of the mine. So it didn't look like this. So don't think back in the day they were taking those old cars up this rocky stuff. Now, they had graders even back then, even if they were horse-drawn, but this mine wasn't back in that time. So they had vehicles to grade this. But now, anyway, we get this cool path. So it's going to get, well, you can see it's getting crunchier, and it'll get rockier and looser, and we're going to go up in elevation too. And this starts out, this trail, in not the Joshua Tree National Park, but then it starts to get, basically goes out of the park. So one side of it starts where we started, is in Joshua Tree National Park. And then as you move ahead, you're going to actually exit the Joshua Tree National Park. And you'll be basically on BLM land. And then if you were to follow this trail all the way into the mining town, which I think might be called just the town of Black Eagle, maybe? I don't know. So you can see it's a rocky road here. So I don't know what you would call this. It's nothing really crazy yet. It has been called difficult, but I would rate this as, I don't know, on the moderate side, really. But the more you off-road, the more experience you or anybody gets, the stuff that you thought was hard starts to get difficult. That doesn't mean don't respect it and don't prepare for disaster. I'm just saying trail ratings are kind of subjective, so you be the decider, you be the judge on what you would rate this trail. But if you were to continue into the mining town, you would get to the town of Black Eagle. So if you're interested in what the actual ghost town of Black Eagle looks like, you can look it up on YouTube, and I believe it's fenced off, but people have droned over it. And it's like any other defunct mining ghost town, a whole little town set up around the mine. I think they had a post office, a school, a movie theater, blah blah blah. they had the whole works until it finally went defunct. Now this is a big dip down. This is where I can barely see over the hood. So look at my inside camera if you want to see what I see. And this camera's going to make this hill look flat, but we're going up pretty good. I got to watch my departure angle. And we got some ruts in the road. Now I'm still in 4 high drive, if anybody wants to know, with the center diff locked. And but if you want to check out that ghost town, check out some videos, and you'll be able to see what the town was like. But it was a full-on town. All right. So we got, I guess this is moderate stuff, but nothing crazy. Just be mindful, but it is a bunch of up and downs. Up and down and around. Now we're going up and left. And this trail changes with the rain and the weather. So we got some, I got to be concerned about high centers as always because I'm not lifted. So I'm going to keep my tires on the high stuff. And we're getting narrow here too. So this is narrow, rocky, crunchy stuff at a, I guess, moderate uphill. Keep my tires on these big rocks, and I'm just going to climb over them. Okay. And if you're wondering how long this trail is, it's not that long, and it's pretty much an in and out trail. So what you'll do is drive, most people drive this to the big white rock that blocks the entrance to the mine, and they will camp there, turn around, whatever. It is Friday today, and other than that Subaru behind me, I haven't seen any other cars. I mean, maybe we'll see another car, who knows. Hopefully that Subaru will come down here. I don't recall if I've seen all-wheel drive cars make it down here, but I don't see why not. If you were the more experienced type of all-wheel drive type of vehicle driver, and you knew your basics with all-wheel drive, I think this would be totally doable without any type of modification. So you wouldn't have to lift it or anything. But there is, again, a more difficult section ahead, so stay tuned for that. Now this is a big wash here, so if it rains, this might flood a little bit, so be mindful of that. Going up here. And remember, if you find this video interesting as we get to the difficult part here, please remember to just go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. Leave a comment. Remember, this is a user-generated YouTube channel. And what that means is all this content comes from you, or the viewers, or the subs. So any video that you see on this channel has been someone else's idea, not mine, but somebody said, go here, what do you think of this? Try this trail. Will you go on this trail? Will you go on that? Will you try this? Will you try that? That's literally like 95% of this channel. So please, I love pushing this GX460, I guess to its limits, near its limits, whatever you want to call it. I like using it for what it is, which is Land Cruiser Prado, if you didn't know that. But I think the secret's out of the bag with that. But there wasn't a lot about this car before we got it. This is a 2021 model, or a current generation. And there wasn't, now this is crunchy stuff, so just be careful. I'm not going to do any low range, but it is rutted, crunchy, and downhill, slightly. And then you got a departure and more bumps, another wash here. Another high point. But there wasn't a lot of stuff about the GX online, and that was kind of frustrating for me because there's this great car, and there wasn't a lot of videos. At least there's lots of forum stuff, but not a lot of quote video evidence to prove that this car was what everybody, claimed it to be, which was this baby Land Cruiser or Land Cruiser Prado. And indeed it is. And in some markets, such as Europe, and by Europe I mean the whole entire continent, not just one country, but all 50 plus countries in Europe, this car is just known as the Land Cruiser. This is the Toyota Land Cruiser. They don't import the long wheelbase. Now this, you got to be careful. There's some high center stuff here. Big rock here. I'm going to climb over. Big rocks, moderate uphill. And one side, as you can see, is higher than the other. Got some sharper rocks. But yeah, so in Europe, this is just the Land Cruiser. This is the Toyota Land Cruiser, and it lives up to the rep. If you want to check out the channel, please do. And you'll see what I mean. If you are watching this and you have a 4Runner, you're interested in 4Runner, when it's all said and done, the 4Runner can do the same exact thing. They're just marginal differences between the two vehicles. When it comes to what I'm doing now off-road, yeah, it pretty much does the same. You can see we're getting a little looser here. But yeah, I think you got pretty views, by the way. This is just gorgeous out here. If you want to camp or whatever, do your thing out here, I think you would have a blast. All right, so we'll speed it up a little bit, but the views are beautiful, just beautiful. And I don't know how popular this trail is. I don't think I've seen anybody ever out here. So keep that in mind when you come out, that it might be kind of desolate. I think it's the final part that might scare people a little bit, that we're going to get to here in a moment. That does get crunchy and sketchy, but I don't know. Hang on and watch, and you see whether you're in all-wheel drive or whatever. You'll see. Let me know what you think here. But getting back to this GX460, there wasn't a lot of stuff online of people, at least videos, people taking it off-road. So my hope is this channel can serve as a resource for not just the GX460 off-roading, but anything in this class that Toyota makes, whether it's the Prado, the full-size Land Cruiser, or the Toyota 4Runner. I think that'd be an interesting resource. Or if you're just thinking about taking Rattlesnake, or excuse me, why am I calling this Rattlesnake? It's Black Eagle Mine Road. If you want to see a video on Rattlesnake Canyon, we went down that one too. Check that one out. But if you're thinking about going down Black Eagle Mine Road, just watch this before, and you can see exactly what you're getting into, especially if you're new to off-roading and you don't know what to expect. Now, we're going to be coming out of the park here soon, according to the map. So keep that in mind. And once you get out of the park, it's legal to drone, so you can have aerial photos and all that good stuff. But when you're inside the park, you can't fly anything. I think that's just national park law, unless you get special permission or whatever. So remember, this is an in and out trail, and it's actually not that long, so we're going to be getting to the end point here soon, and the more difficult part soon. But as you can see, we're bouncing around, and it's going to be up to you to decide what you think about this. When I first took this trail, you're always more anxious because you don't know what to expect and how long it is and all this sort of thing. So you kind of hype things a little bit more in your mind. But I think I gave it at first the moderate, and then I got to this part we're about to get to at the end, where hit something there, hit a slider there. I don't know if that bang showed up. But when I was taking this first time, I thought it was moderate. And then we started to hit the end here, and I was like, man, this is not moderate anymore. This is difficult. At least that's what I thought a year ago when I first. Now this is the end of the park. This is the gate. So if you want to fly your aerials, you're free to do so, or at least legally right now. So I thought it was moderate the first time and then difficult at the end. So it'll be interesting to see what I think it's going to be like this time. And we're going to be there in a moment here. But as you can see, it's a pretty spot to if you're into overlanding. And if you don't know what overlanding is, it's a subjective term, but generally speaking, it's for people who are more interested in the camping side of off-roading versus the off-roading part of off-roading. So, said another way, and I think the trail goes straight, not that way. I hope I'm right. So overlanders like to camp, where people like off-roading, like me, like to do the off-roading, like the trail, and then like to go back home. And that's what I'm hopefully will be able to do today. If I respect the trail enough. But if you're into off or overlanding, this is definitely a spot where you've got plenty of room to camp out and do whatever you want. I think this trail should be way more popular than it is. All right, we've got some big rocks in this dip here that probably won't show up. Ooh, I forgot I'm in 4 high, so. I'm in 4 high, so I will have to go down to 4 low here soon, I believe, from memory. Now you got to be careful at the end of this trail because it does end at the shelf road where that white rock is. And if you don't want to back down that, stop before you get that and just walk there, because it's just a pain in the butt to just walk up drive up a shelf road and then have to go, you know, you have to go back down it in reverse just to turn around. You know, going in reverse down a shelf road is never fun, is what I'm trying to babble. So watch what I'm going to do here. Hopefully I'll remember and just back away and walk the trail. That way you don't have to worry about the awkward backing down of the trail. If that didn't make sense, it will in a moment here. Now, unless you're with people, like that might help you. If you're with a bunch of people, I think it goes straight. Okay, yeah. This is where it starts getting dicey, from what I recall. Where I'm like, am I on the trail or not? Okay, I think I'm supposed to go this way. Yeah, gotta go this way. This is showing up kind of on my GPS, so keep that in mind too. I hope this is not the shelf road. Nah, I don't think this is the shelf road yet. Anyway, it'll all make sense in a second. I think this trail is only like 12.5 miles, something like 14 miles in and out, I thought. 22 miles? I don't know. I thought it was 12 miles each way. So 22 miles round trip, something like that. Look at these big rocks. Cold boulders. All right, so we got a rough patch here. So not too bad. You just gotta, if you're not lifted like me, just try to keep your tires on the high side, and that's it. You got a few options. It's not as narrow as it could be. All right, moving right along. So yeah, hit the like and subscribe if you're somehow still watching at this point. We're almost there, I promise. But like and subscribe if you'd like to support the channel. If for some odd reason you are super thankful for this video, please hit the super thanks video. All proceeds go to video creation. In other words, to go on the trails that you see here. If you'd like to request a trail that we go on anywhere in the region, even if it's out of state, please mention that in the comments, and we'd love to take this Lexus GX460 anywhere within reason. And I think that if you like to shoot up, here's another truck, guys. Yay, another truck. All right, we're gonna have to get out of each other's way. Looks like a Chevy or something, or a Ford. All right, let's see who's gonna pass what and where. I gotta be careful of these bushes. I don't want to go. Let me go up on these rocks here. I try my best not to miss these bushes. How you doing?
Know where you're going?
Yep.
Ah, cool. Is there a way out there that way?
Which way? Oh, you could. Did you get to the White Rock?
Yeah.
You could. I mean, technically no, because you'll get to the mine and it'll be fenced off, unless you want to find your own way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, because we got to like that mine, but it just got really gnarly, so we just turned back.
Yeah, I mean, there's no dedicated way. You'd have to find it on your own.
Okay.
Most people just turn around. I'm gonna turn around at the rock,
Okay.
and then just head out. You know, that's what most people do. But you know, I've seen people go all around in there.
We went all the way down there.
You did?
Yeah.
To the ghost town and everything?
Oh, no, we didn't get to the go. I guess.
Like where it's fenced off?
No, we got to like a mine,
Okay.
and then yeah, we stopped there.
Yeah, a little bit past that is the town they built right next to it.
Oh, shit.
And it's a ghost town. It's all fenced off.
All right.
Some people go there, but I don't know if you're supposed to go in like through the fence. So
Cool.
it's kind of like iffy. So I don't know.
Good luck, be safe.
All right. Okay, so that was cool. Sounded like they went past the big white rock and went to the mine. So I've never gone to the mine. I'm just not into mine exploring. But if you're into that, the exploring side of it, you could totally go like they did and check the mine. Obviously, be careful. There's nobody there to make sure those holes are safe wherever they mine. So just keep your safety in mind as you're going. But as I was telling them, there is the ghost town beyond that, but I have not gone down that path past the mine and to the ghost town, so you kind of got to be mindful of all of that. Which way are we going? Oh, we're going here. All right, getting a little bit more. Not really bad. I'm still in 4 high. So we're going up here. Camera might flatten it out. I might tink this rock here. Let's see on the front slider. Nope, I didn't. All right, we're going slightly uphill. It's getting rockier. So this is where it starts to get more interesting. But keep in mind, that the trail conditions can change with weather, this, that, and the other, rains, flooding, nature. But this is where the trail, I think, starts getting fun and interesting. And I know I keep babbling and saying we're almost there, but we are. But anyway, it sounds like those guys went beyond. I think I'm supposed to go straight. Yeah. But you can say, look at this. It's a very dynamic, shall we say, trail. Now, I might. This is rotted, so I'm gonna. I don't know if I need to go on formula. Now I'm gonna straddle this. Got 2 high spots. It's kind of like a V-notch. Straddle these creosote bushes, and I'm still in 4. You could have went down to 4 low, whatever. Whoa, look at this. Like part of the road's missing there. I don't know if that'll show up. but you got to be careful. That was just what I was saying about nature taking a chunk of the road out. Oh, we got a big one there. Now I'm going to go down to 4 low here, and I'm going to open my door. And this is what I mean about the trail getting a little weird. I'm just going to poke my head out here because there's a big, relatively big gap in road. Okay, it's not that bad. But it's kind of ironic. I just was talking about nature changing up the trail, and now you're seeing proof of that. So I'm going in 4 low in case I do get stuck in one of these spots. I'll have a little bit of extra torque to help get through. Okay, so now I'm in 4 low, if anybody wants to know. But I'm still in drive. I'm not in any particular gear. So I don't know, what would you call that? Moderate so far? I mean, there are some spots. But I think the biggest spot I thought was ahead. Some sort of marker ahead. So yeah, be mindful of any sort of natural changes, and I guess that goes for any off-roading trail. It could get a little weird, right? All right, going downhill. Now we're getting to this dark kind of rocks. Now this is where I think it's going to get rocky for real. So as you can see, now this is just a pile of rocks, and I think is going to be a good rocky patch if my memory is correct. But because there's a point where I took this and I'm like, I don't know if this is moderate anymore. Another little wash, kinda. All right, let's see what's ahead. What's my map say? So this is showing up on my Lexus mapping software, just the stock stuff for some reason. I don't know what this darkish type of rock is. It looks like pulverized rocks. Almost looks like ready mix or pre-mixed concrete. You know what I'm talking about, the concrete in the bag. Just a bunch of gray stuff. All right, now we're getting rocky. So, this is definitely, I guess, what people would definitely say moderate, I guess. But I remember again. Okay, here we go. Now we're getting even more rocky. Keep your rocks in the high stuff. Alright. So, none of this is that bad. But just respect it is all. But this is, as you can see, rocky. 4 low drive. Okay. And I forget if it gets rockier again. Oh yeah, more rocks. Alright, so yeah, this is where we're going to get definitely into the moderate, but it's not too bad. But these are big rocks. Don't let the cameras fool you. These rocks are getting bigger and chunkier. So this is the part, I think, that if you're on the fence about easy and moderate, this is the part you're going to want to watch and pay attention to. Again, now look at this. See, we got to go up this. Now this is, I'm going to come down first just to get more torque. We're going up and to the left, and there's a big climb here that we're going to have to climb relatively big, okay? So this is your more trickier part. 4 low first. And it's starting to get looser. I'm going to go and drive because it's not that loose, so I can get some speed. And I'm going up. Use both cameras for perspective here. And some of these are loose. I hope this isn't the one I have to turn around at the big rock, otherwise I'm not going to be happy. Because I don't want to back down this. Whew. But I don't think it is. I think this is just the hard part before you get to that. But, yeah, crunchy. I don't know. I think if you're in between, you know, easy and moderate, like you're just getting into the moderate stuff, that might be a little bit unnerving for you. Because there are a bunch of big rocks, and you kind of do have to place your tires. Also, if you're in a unibody type of SUV like the that Outback we saw, you're going to have to be careful there with your articulation and ground clearance and things like that. All right, rutted stuff. All right, I do believe this is where the big rock is, so you've made it to the end. Yay! That's it. So if you want to know what I'm talking about, once you get here, so that, quote, difficult rock patch, moderate rock patch, whatever you want to call it, once you get that and over here and you see this big mountain and you start to see this road go up, that's where you're going to want to stop, because all that's beyond this is that white rock. Now, of course, you could be like those guys we just saw and explore further. That's totally up to you, and just go around the rock. I think people have moved it aside, and you can easily get behind it. But this is the turnaround point once you get to this last kind of uphill. I'll show you just to make clear. This is a little uphill here too. So, yeah, it's fun stuff. So overall, I think the trail rating of moderate is more accurate than crazy difficult. But, you know, there are some sketchy spots. But this is a spot where you want to turn around. Let's see if there's any landmark. There's kind of this, let's see, you kind of got an oil drum here or something? What's this? This way, if you keep going that way, you'll get to the white rock. I'll put the inset of what that looks like, and you can see of what it looks like. There's just a white rock up there, and beyond that is all the all the other stuff. Anyway, I'm going to turn around and take this back, and that's it. If you found this video helpful, please remember to like and subscribe. Thank you, and have a great day.
Nothing divided from the century of the cool cat. Dig down with the clean of the hot hat. Lift up face, and then they knocking on my door. I've been feeling the boom. This is really after 4. So what's it with that core was really just bored. Don't break out the sword and let's go cruising in your Ford. Watch out, yeah, sweet snow is the deal. As she shouted, it's the funky lesson 1 to the grill. I should have known that something wasn't right in walking. The biggity boom was just ticking and clocking. A nice boy in plaid is passed from his dad. Another straight in the fight, man, but he wasn't from the right clan. Stop all the nonsense, defense is my defense. Oh yeah. I know the mode is daily dense. Time has passed on, but it's been a million days. We're still nice and divided, running round in haze. Nothing divided. Nothing divided from the century of the cool cat. Dig down with the clean of the hot hat. Flip that face and then they knocking on my